In this tutorial, we are going to solve some practice questions and set theory and functions. So this is the paper for 2024 test 1 for math. So let's begin our discussion with question 1. So question 1 is saying part A, which is part A1, x plus 1.42 minus 0.8 in the form of A over B, where A and B are a member of integers and B is not equal to 0. So there is minus here. Let's first deal with the one with the point, with the bar, sorry, which is 1.42. So I will write this, which is 1.42 bar. We do know, guys, that the first thing is we need to push this point to be there. That is going to be 10x to be equal to 14.2. Then another one, I'll start from there. It goes 1, 2, it goes there, so it's going to be 100x being equal to 142.2. So you know that this is like we are doing 142. So here now I'm going to do minus. So here I'll end up having negative 90x. Here I'll end up having 142, or you say 14. So you choose here is either you can put this on top or just the way it is, then the negative is going to cancel out. That is okay. Okay, so what is 142 or 14.2 minus 142.2? Okay, so that should give you 128. So you divide both sides by negative 90, here by negative 90, x and x 0, negative 90 and negative 90 will go. You remain with 128 divided by 90. So definitely we have 128 divided by 90. There is a number which can go into that should be 2. So 2 there is 64. 2 into 90, 45. Now there is no number which can go into 64 and 45. So meaning what I have there, the first part, now we are talking about 164 divided by 45 minus 0.8. But what should come in your mind is that 0.8 is basically the same as 8 divided by 10. So I'll say 64, I will write this as this. I will say 64 divided by 45 minus 8 over 10. So the common denominator is going to be 450, even 90 to make things simple. The common denominator, let's put it 90. So we have 45 divided by 90 is 2. 2 times 64 is 128 minus there 9. 9 times 8. So 9 times 8, it should be 72. So now we do 128 minus 72. That is 56 divided by 90. Now let's see, there is a number which can go, that is 2. 2 into 56, yeah, is 28. Then 2 into 90, 45. There is no number which can go into 28 and 45, so the answer ends here. So that's my answer, 28 divided by 45. Let's go to part 2. We jump to part 2. So part 2 is under still set theory, where we have the first thing, we have got given that the universal set, which is from negative infinity all the way to 30, and A, we have that, B, we have that. Find A intersection B complement. So I'll first write my set here from negative infinity to 30, 30 being included, that is my x, that is set x. I'll write here set x. What next? So we have negative 20. What other negative do we have? The numbers negative 8. I'll put 0 here. What else do we have? 0, then I have got 4, and then I'll put 7 here. Let's first have our a. So our a is from negative 20 included all the way to 0. Now that is my a. But again, it jumps, it goes to 4 included all the way to 30. That remains to be my a. But remember, we are talking about b complement, but b itself is from negative. I'll show you like this. B is from negative 8 to 7. 7 not included. That is our b. But we are interested in b complement, meaning b complement from this point here, that is not included, meaning the complement will be included all the way to 30 included. That's my b complement. Again here, since this is included, meaning the complement will not be included all the way to negative infinity. That is also my b complement. So initially b, I'm not interested in b. If I want, I can just get rid of it. I just show the complement. It's fine. I'm not interested in b. But if you want, you can show it. So we want the part where a and b complement, they are meeting. And what are those parts? We have this part here. It ends there, and also this part here. It ends there. Therefore, we can conclude that a intersection b complement, it starts from negative 20, okay, comma negative 8. But is negative 8 included? This is open. No, it's not. Union, it jumps. It starts from 7 included because it is closed all the way to 30 included. So this is my answer for part 2, unless you have questions. So it's just basically simple principle which you need to follow when it comes for set theory. Something that is very important and direct, not complicated. Yeah, so that's my answer. Then now we can go to part B1. So part B1 is a bit complicated, or let me just say it's a bit complex, not complicated, but it's a bit complex. So it's just a matter of us simplifying this first. So let's see. So we know that 1 plus 2i to the power 3 is basically the same as 1 plus 2i, 1 plus 2i, 1 plus 2i. Now we start simplifying, expanding this. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2i. 2i times 1, 2i. 2i times 2i, 4i squared. But remember, we keep on bringing this guy. So now, you know that where there is I squared, you replace it with negative 1. Then it's going to be 1. 2 plus 2, 4i. That is going to be plus 4. Where there is I squared, replace it with negative 1. As simple as that. This one, keep on bringing it. So now it's like I have got 1 plus 4i minus 4. Like that. Here 1 plus 2i. So 1 plus that is going to be negative 3 plus 4i. Then again I'm multiplying this by 1 times that. Meaning I can now get rid of this. Okay? Trying to expand. Shift this one to be just on top there. Therefore, negative 3 times that, negative 1 is negative 3. I'll end up having negative 6i. 4 times that, 4i plus 6i squared. So now, where there's I squared, they replace it with negative 1. So I'll end up having this. Then these two, they'll give me 2i. Then I'll have minus 6 because of negative I has gone. I squared has gone. So these two, they'll give me negative 9 times minus 2i. Meaning that everything here, I'll replace it with negative 9 minus 2i. Meaning, what I have now is, I'll replace that with negative 9 minus 2i plus 8 plus 4i divided by 1 plus I. But I know that this I have to rationalize. So it will be 1 plus I, 1 plus I. So I'll keep on bringing this. I no longer need this now. I'll write it from here. I'll keep on bringing that negative 9 minus 2i plus. So now I'll do 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times I is 8i. 4 times 1 is 4i. Then that is going to be 4i squared. I divide this by, when you're multiplying this by its conjugate, it's basically the same as squaring the guy having negative. So 1 squared I squared. I'll keep on bringing this, that. So now I have got 8. These two can add up. I'll get a 12. Then minus 4. Because of I squared, I'll divide this by 1 minus I squared will be replaced by negative 1. So what are we going to have? We end up having negative 9 minus 2i plus. Now 8 minus 4 is 4 plus 12. 12 has got I, don't forget. Now I divide this by 2 because 1 negative negative will give me positive. So I'll end up having 9 minus 2i plus 4 plus 12i. I divide it by 2. Now when you divide it by 2, it's basically the same as this. I can divide this by 2, even here by 2. So this is 12. So I have negative 9 2i plus 2 into 4 is 2. 2 into 12 is 6i. So I have negative 7 plus 4i as my final answer. Yeah, I hope you are able to follow. So these are basics anyway. Now, if we go to the next question where they're saying rationalize the denominator. You know, if you have got more than one square root on the denominator, then you have to let the guy which doesn't have the square root and another guy which has got the square root to be equal to any letter. So in this case, I'm going to use p. I'll say let p be equal to, I'll equate to that 1 plus root of 2, like that. Meaning where there is 1 plus root of 2, I will replace it with p. So it will be 4, then p plus root of 3, because I can't rationalize where I have got 2 root of 2 square root on the denominator. Then now I can rationalize where I'm going to say p minus root of 2 or root of 3, p minus root of 3. So if I multiply, I'll end up having 4p minus 4 root of 3. I divide this by, if you're multiplying this by its conjugate, it's the same as squaring the guy having negative, but the negative is not going to be affected. So you end up having 4p minus 4 root of 3 divided by p squared minus the square root of 3 times square root of 3 is just 3, like that. Now you can replace p. Okay, so replacing p, it will be 4 open brackets, p is 1 plus root 2 minus 4 root of 3, like that. I'll divide this by the p is 1 plus root of 2. Now it is squared minus 3. Let's first simplify that. But how do we simplify that? So we have got 1 plus root of 2 times 1 plus root of 2. 1 times root of 2 is 1. 1 times root of, or 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times root of 2 is 2. Then root of 2 times 1 is root of 2. Root of 2 times root of 2 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. That is going to give me that. So meaning I will replace that is in the square root there, in the brackets there, with 3 plus 2 root 2. So therefore I'll have this. that is 3. Let's not forget. So I'll have 3 2 root 2 minus 3. Now you can see the beauty part is that 3 and 3 will go. 3 minus 3 is 0, meaning down there we have remained with one guy, which is on top we have 4. 1 plus root 2 minus 4 root 3. I divide this by 2 root 2. Now I'm going to do times now. I'm going to conjugate the denominator. So this will be times negative 2 root 2, even here negative 2 root 2. So if we do times, negative 2 root 2 times 4 is negative 8 root 2 open brackets 1 root 2, like that, minus. So negative and negative will be plus now. 2 times that is going to be 8. Root 2 times root 3 is root 6. I'll divide this by, it's the same as squaring the guy having negative, but the negative will not be affected. Remember, the negative is not going to be affected. So we end up having negative 8 2 1 plus root 2 plus 8 root 6. Divide this by negative 2 squared is 4. Then that will be just 2 because I'm squaring the square root. I'll continue from this side. So we'll end up having neg 8 root 2 1 plus that plus 8 root 6. Down here we end up having negative 8, of which you know that this and that can go, this again and that can go. So we end up having negative and negative will be positive. I'll just have square root of 2 1 plus root 2. Then here now negative and positive will be negative root 6. 8 has gone. Now I can factor out. If you want, you can leave it there, but you can just factor out so that the square root should be on its own. Then I'm going to have root 2 times 2 times 1. I'll end up having root 2. That is going to be 2 minus root 6. So 2 plus root 2 minus root 6 is my answer. You can end here. You can either end there, or you can even go further and say 2, and then you factor out now. You even factor out, if you want, you can factor out root 2. Then you put 1 plus again root 3. But it's the same thing with now this one. So better don't factor out. Just leave it here. End there as your final answer. So that's the answer for that question. Now let's go quickly to part C. We see how we can exploit. So part C, guys, is a question which most of the times it comes during exams, even test. It's a question which is very simple, but just a bit tricky. So the question goes like this. A woman with 80 meters of fencing wire wishes to fence off a garden in the shape of a rectangle. What should be the dimension of the garden if the enclosed space is to be as large as possible? So the first thing is, understand the question. We're talking about the rectangle. This is the rectangle. Now give any letters. If you want, you can use A, B. If you want, you can use X, Y. So I'll use X, meaning this is X, this is Y, this is Y. Now, you know, you have been, the total distance you have been given, this one, it was the distance which was used to fence the whole of this rectangle. And you know that, meaning at that point we are talking about perimeter. Perimeter is defined as the total distance around the circle, meaning that the perimeter is what? Is 8. But what is perimeter? Perimeter, we know that it is X plus X. You add all the sides you have, Y plus Y. So the perimeter is 80. X plus X is 2X. Y plus Y is 2Y. You can divide everywhere by 2. You end up having 40 to be equal to X plus Y. That is Remember, I want to find the dimensions which are x and y. I end there. I don't know what else. If you have been given a shape, then we can talk about the area. What is area? Area is basically x times y. So we don't know area. Alright? Now, for the first guy here, I can make x as a subject of formula. Okay? So I'll say x will be equal to 40 minus y. What does it mean? In the second equation, so this one will be my second equation. In the second equation, where there is x, we put 40 minus y. So it will be area will be equal to where there is x, put 40 minus y. Then again times y. So a will be equal to 40 times y, then y squared. Guys, if you check this properly, you realize that this is basically a quadratic equation or quadratic function. Under quadratic function, and we can clearly see that a is less than 0. When a is less than 0, the graph will definitely open up like that. Okay? So how do we find y in this case, the turning point? So y in this case will be given by negative b divided by 2a. So y will be equal to, what is b? So b, we have got a, b, then c is 0 in this case. So we have got b is 40. So we have 2, a is negative 1. Meaning that my y in this case, is what? My y is 20. So if y is 20, remember we had to make x as a subject of formula here. So what I'm going to do, I'll just say x is equal to 40 minus, what is y? Y is 20. So x will also be equal to 20. And for sure, if I want to find the perimeter, it's going to be the total distance, which is just 20. Okay? Where there is x, we put in 20. So if I put 20 there, it's going to be 40. 40 plus 40 is 80. So these are the dimensions. Okay? So that is it for question A. Oh, sorry, for question 1. So we'll go ahead and solve question 2 and 3. So if you want to access question 2 and 3, which I'm going to explain in the next video, get in touch with Transcended Institute, register with us, then you'll be able to get access to all our past paper solutions, tutorial sheet solutions, and the test together with the quizzes. Okay, thank you.